Keeping Company. Fantastic movie that we hope you've probably already watched if you're viewing this Q&A. I hope you enjoyed it, and I would like to introduce you to some of the team that worked on the movie. So, guys, could you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name's Josh Wallace. I was the director and co-writer of Keeping Company.
Hey, I'm Devin Doss. I was the co-writer, producer, and actor in the movie.
Hi, I'm Ahmed Bharoocha. I played Noah in the film.
Hi, I'm Suzanne Savoy, and I played Grandma in the film.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jacob Grodnik, and I played Lucas.
Wow. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. It's fantastic to have you with us. We love this movie. It's such a great combination of comedy and horror, which is something that always plays really well with our audiences at Grimfest. So tell us maybe first of all, a little bit about how this idea came together and how maybe Devin and Josh, you guys worked together on developing this project and the script.
Yeah, Devin, do you want to I think you always tell the story a little bit better than I do.
Sure. Yeah. No, it was Josh and I were just pitching around ideas. We had been writing together for a few years at that point. That honestly, 3 years ago from this month, February 2018, we're just pitching around ideas. We're also kind of at our wits' end of like not getting stuff read or made or whatever. So we're like, let's like think about something we can shoot, something we can make. And we just had like the original kernel of this idea of like a couple guys getting kidnapped by a strange, lonely person. And it just kept evolving. It just kept growing. The first 4 drafts were a pretty broad comedy, probably studio level broad comedy. And then we kind of came to a crossroads because we found the tone was really starting to get muddled, that things were getting darker. And we were just trying to figure out, we're like, what do we really want to do with this film? And we did a page 1 rewrite. We really hashed it all out, and we really leaned into theme, and and we leaned into some of our biggest inspirations, like the Coen brothers, and just we're like, let's make something that's unique, original, and trying to say something, but having fun with it.
Yeah, I think we definitely wanted to kind of go against the grain a little bit of like what you would normally, like we were originally kind of writing that broad buddy comedy, and they were like, what if we totally went the other way with it and kind of changed what you would normally see? Like, I think when you watch this movie, you're expecting that Sonny and Noah, like they're gonna, find their way through this. You're not expecting that Noah's gonna be killed halfway through the film, the most likable guy. And that just comes from Devin and I really sticking to our guns with the theme and trying to communicate like, well, this is what we see society as. And that's when we started like thinking about theme, that's when the movies really started to coalesce and come together. And I think that's why all these people here who joined us kind of came on to the film and came onto the project, is hopefully because they saw that. And yeah,
what I liked about it, and I think what Sim likes about it as well, is the way it tends to continually thwart expectation. It tends to go completely across the one of the things that's great about when you combine horror and comedy is people will always assume if it's a horror comedy, then nothing too bad's going to happen because it's meant to be funny. And this very, very carefully blindsides the audience with that expectation, and then proceeds to break every single typical comedy story arc one after the other which I loved, and which I think is like what you're saying, sticking to your guns. I think that's why it works so well.
Yeah. I think when we originally, I think, and Susie was like, when we first were bringing Susie on board, she, I think, spoke to that pretty directly about like, this is a very fine line that you guys are walking. And, I think she, was ultimately, it's like, felt like you were a little bit on the fence about joining on the project. But
I was not going to join the project because I'm a vegetarian. And I'm a vegetarian because I can't stand seeing animals suffer and people suffer. And this film is just full of suffering. And I thought, there's going to be people out there who are going to go, oh, this is great. They're suffering. And so I looked at it, I sent it to my agent, I sent it to my to my acting coach. I sent it to my daughter, who's a filmmaker, and my daughter said, "Mom, you've got to make this movie. You've got Eric Schoonover." Great designer. So, but the fact that it's an allegory, that it's a horror allegory, really appealed to me because I just love good literature. I love good writing, and I felt like the writing in this was unexpected and fun, and I got over myself, and I have to say this project was one of the most fun projects I've ever done. I loved working with these guys. Jacob and I had so much fun. We all had just a lot of fun together. And
it doesn't show on screen for some reason.
What's that, Jeff?
It doesn't really show up on screen, the fun you guys had.
It shows up in the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great project to work on.
Even though there's, I guess maybe Devin's character may be the central character, I don't know, that's for debate maybe, but it's quite an ensemble piece, and also the story is quite complex. You've got a lot of different characters involved in it. And I was thinking when I started watching it, well, is this going to pull it off? Because sometimes those kind of movies with a lot of different characters, you get lost in the different journeys and they don't always work. Whereas somehow you guys really made this work. Every strand of the story and every character's journey in the piece works really well.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we man, I mean, it was like 3 months straight of this rewrite, and literally just every day, honestly, 7 days a week of Josh and I just pulling our hair out, just really trying to make sure that we did accomplish that. So it's great to hear that that you feel that way. For us, it was such a fine line to walk for us, because but the thing again, we just, every time we went, like, our North Star was like, what's the world, what's the thing that we're trying to say, what would actually happen in a world this vicious, or does happen in a world this vicious. But for us, it really was, it's like everyone that we were sending the script to was reading that Sonny is the central character. And he is, of course, in a lot of ways. But to us, we open the movie on Lucas. To us, Lucas, even though we don't end the movie with him, for us, it was, he's the real protagonist. He's the one who actually grows, and he's the one that actually arcs.
He has the biggest arc, I guess, doesn't he?
Yeah. And we wanted that to be the case because we saw him as someone who was born into a position that put him at the top of the food chain, and we wanted him to be the one that changed, the one that wanted to destroy what he was, brought up in.
So I'm going
to
ask you a little bit about casting in a minute, but the next stage of the journey. So you've got a fantastic screenplay. What happened next? How did you get the movie into production? It's always incredibly hard.
Oh man, yeah.
On an indie level, it's just the whole time. We didn't have, I think, all of our budget until like halfway. I don't know if these guys knew this, but we didn't have the full budget until halfway through shooting.
Filming.
And it was like, it was just down to the wire. And, the only thing you can do is continually push forward and believe in the project and see that, again, that all these people are starting to come on board and also believe in you. Susie mentioned our production designer, Eric Schoonover, who was supposed to join us today. Eric's like a guy who works on, HBO shows and like Barry and Baskets on FX. And, he came onto the project, and that to Devin and I was such like a huge, one of the first steps of like, oh, people might think this is a legitimate project. That's weird.
That's fantastic. I noted, there were certain things I noted about the design, and I thought, this is, for a smallish indie movie, there's some really nice design touches in here, particularly like the company, the insurance company, the way it was designed and set up, and the use of color was very clever.
Yeah, we were definitely trying to communicate as much as we can in every single frame that we could. And again, just really, obviously we're all wearing red currently, and the film is drenched.
Valentine's Day.
If you didn't notice. And the film's obviously drenched in red. And again, that's just, for, Devin and I, just only made sense for that to be the case based off our themes, where it's like we look around the world and we see this viciousness, we see this dog eat dog mentality. So what does our film world look like? It's drenched in that. Like, it's only, all you're going to see is red. And that might upset some people, but that's, again, it was, the theme being the most important thing.
But
so.
did you finance this independently?
Somehow? Yes, yeah.
You somehow,
I mean,
which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, and like Josh said, we didn't, and this might be the first time everyone is learning this, we didn't have all of our money until halfway through filming. Obviously filming helped us bring more on, but for us, it took a year up until, we wrote the first draft, in like March of 2018. And then we put together a business plan with our producer, Sara, who put together a great business plan. And then it was just turning over every stone that we could and just asking, not even like, asking friends and family, who do you know in your network that might be interested in a cool opportunity like this? I mean, I think it was a huge learning opportunity for Josh and I, because it was the fact that we were like, oh, it's not people doing us a favor, it's us providing an opportunity to them in a way to, like, that we learned, like, oh, we should approach it this way. And people really do respond to that, and again, I mean, we talked to so many people and most of it was no's, as it usually is, but yeah, we just got really lucky, man. Like, we just cobbled together what we needed. So
did you start shooting and then have to stop and restart again, or did you shoot one go?
It was like 18 days of principal, and again, we got, we were working the whole time outside of set.
Pretty tight schedule.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
I was amazed at how much they packed into a day and how clever they were about getting it all done in such a short period of time. I don't think I've ever seen anything that was so compact and
not really, to me, I never felt like it was like long hours for actors. Sometimes you're staying there all night and you're like, well, I'm not doing anything. I never felt like that.
Well, no,
it doesn't sound like you had time for that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about casting, because you've got a fantastic cast in this film. Every performance is so strong. Every character was strong, and that makes a massive difference on an independent movie, so tell me a little bit about how you brought that cast together.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it, well, and Josh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but a lot of the people in our film, for the most part, are people we had worked with, or like I've known Jacob for 9 years now, almost 10 years almost. Crazy. He and I started off as interns at a company back out here in LA years ago. So I've known Jacob for a while. Josh and I've known Ahmed through the comedy world as well, and worked on stuff with him in the past. And so we were just really fortunate there. And then it was just a lot of like us digging, like just going like, who do we feel is best for this project, and just doing cold reach outs.
I'm going to ask the other actors. It might sound a bit of a stupid question, really, but how did you prepare for these roles? I mean, they're quite extreme roles, particularly Josh and Suzanne. Were you perfect for those roles? I mean, what did you base your research on, that kind of thing?
Jacob, you want to answer that?
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, I said Josh. I meant Jacob. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sure. So like really my approach to the character, and what I worked on with Josh a lot, was that Lucas really is a victim himself. So it's really not coming at it trying to be like, I'm the villain or I'm a bad guy. It's really just doing what I know. And then obviously there's the cracks, and me realizing that what I'm doing is bad, and that's kind of the arc of what ends up happening. But really, I would say the North Star that I held on to was just that I am a victim of these circumstances, a victim of Susie, of Grandma, just like all the other inmates at the house, really, and working on
kind of Norman Bates. He's got that Norman Bates thing where you like him.
Yeah.
You don't actually think he's a monster. You kind of think he's quite sympathetic, and there's not that sense of he's a demon. He's just this rather sad guy who's trapped.
Sure. Yeah, he doesn't necessarily enjoy the torturing. He's just that's his life. So yeah, and then working off Susie definitely helped with that. She, when she's like above me with the, we have guests. Like I recently watched it and I got like shivers.
That was our first scene together. You remember that,
Yeah.
Jake? That was our first scene. But yeah.
It's the little things like the surveillance camera with all the people who we never find out. They're just we see them on camera and you think, oh my God.
A big operation. They were all over the bed. They were all in a kind of on the wall.
Bedroom.
The bed.
That was my sex. That was my pornography.
So how about you, Suzanne? How did you come on board the project? You obviously knew each other. You guys knew each other from the past, or?
No. They called me cold. They called my agent out of nowhere and said, we'd like to use Suzanne. We've seen her work. They had seen me on the Nick, I guess.
The Nick. That was the thing for us. Yeah.
Yeah. And so the fact that was what they liked was the first thing that made me think, well, they like my Steven Soderbergh work, and that's some of the work that I'm really proudest of and enjoyed the most.
Yeah.
And to me, that kind of Soderbergh is a hard work filmmaker. He works so hard, it makes everybody else want to work hard. And I thought, if that's their model, if that's somebody they like, then already I was in their on their team. But it took me a while, as I said, to accept that this was a script that I could jump into. But once I jumped into it, it's so well written. And just the fact that, Jacob was talking about how he's a victim of me or whatever. We were all kind of victims of this system, which is what I liked. I like that sort of big brother thing going on. It's a
lot of levels going on because
everything is hand in glove with the insurance industry, with the government, with the meat packing industry, the fast food. It all works together. And I felt like we have some of that going on in the world, and it's one of the things that scares many of us and worries many of us. So it wasn't a big stretch to play this, and honestly, I was kind of playing my mother and my grandmother.
I'm thinking this. There are a lot of demons being exorcised in this film because it seems it's got that very. It seems to be taking on a lot of American sort of values, American morals. So you've got Noah with his relentless optimism. You've got I guess the notion of the kind of the immigrant journey of Sonny's father with his fast food, and he's got his ambitions for his son, and his son isn't dead. And there's all these narratives that America tells itself. I guess Suzanne and Jacob, you're like the like suburban middle class values have gone wrong in the worst way. And there's all these little kind of subtexts going on in terms of the dream just going more and more sour the further on it goes.
Yeah, that like sums it up perfectly. And like, and again, with the way we end the film too is like the ultimate like, putting the cap on that in terms of, well, who wins out in the end? And it's like, well, it's the CEO of the company. That's it. Like, that's who they want.
The insurance industry, they always win out.
Like, it's a pretty dark movie, really, in that respect.
Yeah.
We haven't asked Ahmed about his role in the film, and it'd be nice to talk to ask you, because it's sad in a way.
He's the heart of the film in a way. In any other film, he'd be the heart of the film. He's got the kind of warmth from the.
Yeah, I was really excited. Like as soon as they reached out, because I really respect all their other work that they've made, so I was excited to be part of it. Then when I read the script, as soon as my character died, I was so like, wait, what? And I was like, is he dead? Is he dead? Like, and just the fact that I had me feeling that when I read it, I was like, this is great. Like it was such a great choice. And I think all of their choices were so deliberate, and it wasn't like, oh, let's just kill this person or kill that person. Everything was made sense, and it
because it does defy that convention. You expect your character to survive because he's the optimist, he's positive, he's the nicest character in the whole thing, and because he's the guy that cuts it first.
Yeah, exactly. And in a way, he kind of deserves it too.
He's the film's conscience, so he has to go.
Yeah,
he's got conscience. No one else has.
Yeah, but like you say, but he's so hopeful and optimistic, almost to the point of kind of insanity. It's kind of like you lock in the cellar and you still think you're going to knock this guy into, you know, he's not a bad guy, really.
Yeah, but he's kind of he's not paying attention. You know, he's just being optimistic for no reason. You know,
although you do have an influence over his character.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of my favorite things. Was it was really fun to play the character.
You come back at near the end, the kind of memory of what you said to
Sonny. Yeah.
Or to Lucas.
Fun.
Yeah.
That was maybe the hardest thing for me, because the character is kind of mostly just a heightened version of myself, I think, and to take the dark turn was like, I think Josh really had to kind of help me through that. Like let me get mean and angry.
And tell us a little bit. We're probably going to have to start winding up quite soon because we've probably hit nearly 20 minutes already, and there's so many more things we'd like to ask you. Tell us a little bit about once you'd shot the movie, which you shot in an incredibly short amount of time, then post-production. And tell us a little bit because it's beautifully edited as well. The structure of the film, all the different storylines and the way you interact. There's certain moments where you intercut between different action in different places that builds and heightens tension. Tell us a little bit about how you worked on that.
We have a great editor and I also edit, but our editor that came on board that I think really opened up the film for us, because I was editing at first, and then our editor Ian Skalski came on, and I think he really just opened up a lot of the ideas of the structure, kind of what you're speaking to, and like how to weave it properly. So that was like a huge help to us. And again, like I was editing because we didn't it was a fun issue, and it was something where, again, through post, we just kept trying to find more and more of our budget, which we ultimately did, thankfully. But yeah, that was it was definitely like Devin was sitting in with us all the time too. And it was like a mind meld to try and figure out that structure that you're speaking to.
The sound of the music is also very strong.
Yeah, that's Noah, our composer, is like a very young guy and so talented, and just to see that score is that carries the movie in some ways, it's amazing. It was truly
he just graduated undergrad from film school, and or I think he studied film composing, but he had just graduated, and this film again was Josh and I's first feature film. It was a lot of people's first feature film, so we really had that spirit on set, and just all the way through this project, it was providing an opportunity for everybody to do what they want to do, what they can do, and Noah being our composer, and this is the first feature he's ever composed fresh out of school, and he just knocked out him and Josh. Really, I mean, I think that score it's so strong.
That was the thing that surprised me most when I watched the film all put together was, I already knew all the other components and how they were working together, but the music really, I thought took it, many notches higher.
And Josh and I spoke about it even before filming. We were like, the score is going to be its own character in a sense, and it will help weave and balance the tone, I think, and it does.
Just to close up, tell us if you know anything about, because a lot of people always like to know when the movie's going to get a release, particularly because obviously we're in the UK. So in the UK, I don't know if you have any details yet on that.
Yeah, we don't yet. We don't know when it will be released in the UK yet. We don't know when it will be released anywhere just yet. We are.
That's everybody right now.
Yeah, we are as indie as it gets. We are. We're working on it. So hopefully, maybe end of year or early next year, we can have it out in the world. But we'll see.
Well, we look forward to seeing it being released here in the UK sometime soon. I think it's going to play so well. It's a really strong film, beautifully written, beautifully directed, beautifully performed. Everything about it's great. I really, really enjoyed it. So congratulations. Thank you so much to bringing it.
Thank you.
It
Thank
to
you.
Grimfest.
Thank you.
Thank
guys for
you.
having us.
Seriously, we're so
thanks for-
excited to be with Grimfest.